Means bedrock. Alright? And see, here's Freiberg's lexicon. Living rock in contrast to Petros, which is an isolated stone. See, now I finally found the reference. God caused that to happen. So Petra, which is this word here, is cliff rock, bedrock. Not an isolated stone, which is Petros, Peter's name. So Peter's name is isolated stone. Alright? Petra, by contrast, is Christ's name, and you'll see in the 40-some videos I did, maybe I condensed them, in the playlist to this video description, you'll see that Petra is used like 100 and some times in the Bible, and especially in the Old Testament, to signify Christ. Alright? That's Liddell Scott. Okay, and then here is the king of the lexicons, regarded as the king of the lexicons, Bauer Danker. Okay, of course, Gail Rippling would have you not know the lexicons, so then if all you have is the KJV, you can't know that Christ is referring to himself. You can't know that in the English. If anything, it's going to make it look like Peter is the rock of the church. Now, of course, a lot of KJV only people will teach that it's not Peter but Christ, and that's a correct teaching. But you can't tell that teaching from the translation. You can only tell it from the original. So if you listen to stupid Gail Ripplinger and you only use the English, you can't prove that Peter is not in view here. You can't prove it. And if you only use the stupid KJV's Texas Receptus, you also can't tell. Why? Because our dear boy capitalized Petros. Okay? Only in Tischendorf's copy, which of course Gail Ripplinger and her compatriot liars tell you not to look at, because they're Alexandrian texts. Yeah, they're more reliable because they're less Catholic and they're older, so there are less copying errors in them, dummy. This is where you see that it's obviously Christ talking to himself. Okay, let me just translate it for you so you can see this. I means you. Okay, you are Little Rock. Be the best translation of it. Peter, you are Little Rock. I tell you, well, let me just go from the beginning. And I, by contrast, or by transition, tell you that Lego here is tell. I say that you are Little Rock, Petros, and upon this, now he's pointing to himself, because taute is used a lot in Greek when somebody's pointing to himself. Okay, upon this Petra, he's pointing at himself. He's pointing at his chest. Okay, I will build my, and then Tine Ecclesian means my church. Okay, you see that? I will build. It's not built now. I will build. And is upon myself, epitaute te petre. That's what Christ is saying in my bad pronunciation of the Greek, but it's still the correct Greek. Alright? But you can't see that. Why, hello? Where is that in the KJV? You are Peter, and upon this rock, what rock? In the English, it makes it look like Peter's the rock. Yeah. Because that's the Catholic view. You got that? And here's the literal Greek translation. This is Young's literal translation. Okay? And Young's literal gets it sort of right. He should have said Little Rock. That you are, it's not rock, it's your stone. And upon this bedrock, he should have said bedrock here. But at least he's not saying Peter, because that's not what the verse says. The verse isn't saying Peter. The verse is saying Little Rock. He's making a play on Peter's name in Aramaic, which means, stone. Alright, but you can't tell that from the King James. Now, if you want more proof about how, the Latin Vulgate played games, here's the Vulgate capitalizing Petros, a word that didn't even exist in Latin. They created it afterwards. If you want more proof of that, look at the video description in the sidebar, because I did all those videos tracing out the Latin, the Greek. I traced the Greek Pan Bible, and I showed you Latin dictionary so you can tell that the word didn't exist at the time and they invented it. So they're playing games with the Bible, and then the way they play those games with the Greek text is just to simply capitalize Petros, which they all do. Okay, this is the Byzantine majority text. This is the NA 27 text. This is Textus Receptus, very Catholic, capitalized. Okay, and keeping Christ's name lowercase. Yeah, Christ doesn't matter. Yeah, let's decapitate Christ and put Peter's head on top. Okay, this is Stephanus, also a Catholic text. They're all Catholic texts. There was only Catholicism around at the time. Alright? And then this is Tischendorf, and it has it right. That's a Catholic text too, but it's actually the right verse. See, I told you. God tells us that He preserves His word right somewhere in the collection of copies we have. And this is an example of Matthew 16:18 being correctly preserved without the capitals. Okay, that's the end for this little episode.